Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNS FANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland, BROWNS FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been following the NFL and especially the Cleveland Browns, you know that this season has been one of the most intriguing, unpredictable, and exciting in recent memory. The Browns, a team with a rich history and passionate fan base, are constantly evolving, trying to find that perfect formula to get back to the top of the AFC and ultimately make a deep playoff run. And this season, amidst all the drama and challenges, there's a story that's quietly capturing attention, a story that involves a young quarterback, a rising star, and a fascinating perspective on growth and perseverance. Let's start with the guy at the center of this story, Shedeur Sanders. Yes, Shedeur Sanders, the Colorado Buffaloes football legend, son of the legendary Deion Sanders, and a player who's been making headlines for quite some time now. But what's truly remarkable about Sanders isn't just his athletic talent or his impressive college career, but the fact that he's currently living what many would call the dream scenario, playing on the scout team for an NFL team, earning a hefty $16 million this season, and soaking in every bit of the NFL experience, even if he's not yet in the starting lineup. Now, you might be wondering, how does a guy like Sanders, with such a promising college career, end up on the scout team of the Cleveland Browns? Well, it's a story of patience, growth, and understanding the game at a different level. Sanders recently opened up in an interview with Cleveland.com's Mary Kay Cabot, and what he shared was nothing short of inspiring. He talked about his role in Cleveland, about how he considers his time on the scout team as his game day, even though he's not out there in the spotlight on Sundays. Imagine that, a guy making over $1 million, living what many would call the behind-the-scenes life, but embracing it with such maturity and dedication. Shedeur described his daily routine, emphasizing how he and the other scout team receivers approach every practice like it's a real game. It's not just about running routes or mimicking opponents' plays. It's about sharpening skills, understanding NFL-level strategies, and preparing himself for that once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to step onto the field during a real game. He mentioned how his father, Deion Sanders, used to tell him that if you're doing something every day, you better be getting better at it. And that's exactly what Shedeur is doing now, grinding, learning, growing, all while being part of a team that's fighting for a playoff spot. This perspective is incredibly refreshing, especially in a league where many young quarterbacks or players might become disillusioned when they're not starting right away. But Sanders is different. He recognizes that every day in the NFL is a learning experience, a chance to improve, and a stepping stone toward his eventual goal. He said, "I'm in a great position to be sitting back, understanding the game plan, understanding everything that the NFL is, and that's a mindset that can make or break a player's career. It's about patience, about knowing that the journey is long, and about seizing every moment, no matter how small, to get better." And when Sanders talks about his teammates on the scout team, he's full of respect and admiration. He describes them as family, and that's a huge part of his story. Because in the NFL, especially for a young player trying to break through, the locker room and the practice squad are more than just training grounds. They're a family, a support system that keeps everyone motivated. Sanders emphasizes that everyone in that environment approaches their roles with purpose, knowing that they're all working toward a common goal. That team aspect, that unity, is what makes the Browns' roster special this year. They've shown resilience, grit, and a real sense of togetherness, and Sanders' story just underscores that culture. Now you might be asking yourself, what about his future? Will he ever get the chance to be the starting quarterback in the NFL? Well, Sanders admits that he's still young, still growing, and that he's not rushing that process. He's handling everything well, focusing on every aspect of his game, and most importantly, soaking up the NFL experience. He's sitting behind veterans like Joe Flacco and Dylan Gabriel, which might seem like a setback to some, but for Sanders, it's an invaluable opportunity. Learning from seasoned pros, understanding how the game's nuances unfold at the highest level, that's the real prize right now. And let's not forget, Sanders' journey isn't just about personal development. It also influences the perception of quarterbacks coming out of college today. Many wonder if he peaked in college or if his NFL career will ever reach the heights expected of him. But from what he's saying and doing, it's clear he's got the right mindset. He's not rushing to be the starter. He's focusing on getting better every day, and that's what will ultimately determine whether he's a star in the league or a valuable backup. In the broader context of the Browns, this story resonates deeply with their current situation. The team is built around a core of talented players, and they're in a bit of a transitional phase at quarterback. Dylan Gabriel has been solid, and Joe Flacco brings veteran leadership, but the future always remains uncertain. The Browns have invested heavily in their roster, and despite some ups and downs, they're pushing hard for that playoff spot. The defense, led by Myles Garrett and others, has been stout, but the offense is still finding its rhythm. That's why the development of young players like Sanders, even if he's not on the field yet, is so crucial to the franchise's long-term success. Looking at the season so far, the Browns have shown flashes of brilliance. Their defense, in particular, has been one of the league's most formidable units, consistently disrupting opponents' offenses. Myles Garrett continues to be a game-changer, with his relentless pass rushing and leadership on the field. The team's offensive line has had its struggles at times, but the coaching staff has been working tirelessly to improve the chemistry and execution. The running game has been a bright spot, with Nick Chubb's absence leaving a void, but others have stepped up to keep the offense moving forward. And in the midst of all this, the quarterback situation remains a puzzle. Shedeur Sanders' story of patience, growth, and resilience serves as a reminder that NFL careers are a marathon, not a sprint. For Browns fans, it's about hope and belief in the process. They see the potential in their roster, in their coaching staff, and in young talents like Gabriel and Flacco, who are guiding the team through the season. But they also keep an eye on the horizon, wondering when the next young star will emerge, ready to take the reins and lead Cleveland to the promised land. In fact, this season has been a testament to the team's resilience. Despite injuries, tough losses, and the pressure of living up to a storied franchise's expectations, the Browns keep fighting. Their fan base, known for its loyalty and passion, remains hopeful. They know that success in the NFL isn't just about having the best players, but about the collective effort, the chemistry, and the ability to adapt and grow. That's precisely what Sanders exemplifies, a player who is committed to the grind, to learning, and to eventually earning his shot. As we look ahead, the Browns are poised for some exciting moments. They have the talent, the coaching staff, and the drive. The AFC North is a tough division, no doubt about it, with teams like the Ravens, Steelers, and Bengals all vying for supremacy. But if Cleveland continues to build on what they've started, with their defensive dominance and the steady leadership at quarterback, they might just surprise everyone in the postseason. And so, it's important to remember that stories like Sanders are also about hope. Hope that patience and perseverance pay off. That even when the road is tough and the spotlight isn't on you yet, your hard work and dedication can lead to opportunities. For Browns fans, this season is a reminder that the team is always evolving, always fighting, and that the future is bright with young talents and seasoned veterans working together. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the Cleveland Browns, current landscape, and the intriguing story of Shedeur Sanders, I want you all to think about what this means for the team's long-term prospects. The Browns are not just about immediate success, they're about building a culture of resilience, learning, and growth. And stories like Sanders only reinforce that message. That's what makes following this team so exciting: the potential, the perseverance, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cleveland Browns. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news. This season is far from over, and if there's one thing we know for sure, it's that the Browns are always in the fight, always pushing forward, and always dreaming of that Super Bowl Lombardi trophy. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, go Browns!